Do you think that he needs you?
No, I don't think he needs me. I think when you want something bad enough, and if you get it, it could be the worst thing that could ever happen to you. Because if I whoop his ass, it's gonna be the next guy. There's gonna be a whole new fan base of somebody.
From dominance to dread, Jon Jones shines a spotlight on Tom Aspinall with a scary live warning that stunned the MMA community. Jon Jones, the incumbent UFC heavyweight champion, is the subject of much conjecture in the combat sports world, with talk of a possible fight versus interim champion Tom Aspinall. The future is unknown. Dana White, UFC CEO, recently voiced hope that a decision on the potential fight will be made within weeks.
I'm about to ask you, you're not going to say it's the beauty of what we do, because I know you're sick of the question. Does Jon Jones not want to fight, or does Jon Jones just not want to fight Tom Aspinall?
Listen, Jon Jones has been an interesting human being to deal with since the day he got here. But I will say this about him. You would never hear me out, talking about he's the GOAT, and he's the this, and he's the that, if Jon Jones didn't want to fight people. Jon Jones has never, ever said, I'm afraid to fight this guy, or I don't like this fight for me, or any of that stuff.
So if, for instance, he doesn't fight this guy, who would you like to see him fight? Or are you going to wait until he fights this guy?
I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out over the next couple weeks. But yeah, if we can't get this fight done, we'll move on quickly.
However, in a previous interview, Jones expressed little desire in returning to the octagon anytime soon, sending fans confusing signals. Jones stated on the Full Send podcast that, while he is not retiring, he does not have a big desire to fight right now. He regarded fighting as deeply ingrained in his identity, but he also acknowledged to being unconcerned about returning to the cage.
Retired? Is he fighting again?
I don't want to say that I'm retired, because fighting's in my blood. Right now, I could really care less about fighting. I've been doing it my whole life at a very high level. And when the itch comes back, and if it comes back, then I'll do it with my whole heart. I'll do it to the best of my abilities.
After spending his entire life fighting at the top level, he now seeks contentment elsewhere. He discussed his enjoyment of his effect on fans and his desire to play a more peaceful, influential role outside competition. According to him, the physical fights may be over for the time being, and he will instead focus on being present, approachable, and inspirational to people who admire him.
But right now, I look around and I realize what's true, what's real. I see the way people look at me and the way I make people feel. And it's an extraordinary thing. It's a true blessing. Now my job is to serve that, give that to my fans, be reachable, touchable, let them know what I have inside. That's who I am right now. I punch.
Still, the possibility of confronting Tom Aspinall looms. Jones complimented Aspinall's abilities and promise, congratulating him and wishing him a bright future. However, he also issued a stern warning, hinting that getting what one wants is not always a blessing. In his words, chasing a fight with him could backfire for Aspinall, implying that the young Brit may be unprepared for the effects of getting his way.
He's been saying about you.
I think he's awesome, man. I think he's awesome. I think he should go on and have a wonderful career.
Do you think that he needs you?
No, I don't think he needs me. I think when you want something bad enough, and if you get it, it could be the worst thing that could ever happen to you.
Despite his apparent lack of interest in the fight game, Jones appears to be aware of Aspinall's constant calls. Aspinall has gone so far as to claim that Jones is essentially retired, calling himself the true heavyweight champion. Jones, however, looks unconcerned. He openly admitted to loving his role as a provocateur, calling himself the ultimate troll. He stated that he is currently enjoying the benefits of his job and is not easily inspired or driven by new rivals.
I love being the ultimate troll. I'm in a spot right now where I'm really enjoying the fruits of my labor, all the hard work I put in. He's not in a position. He's not in a position to excite me. It's just the truth.
In his opinion, defeating Aspinall would not change much. It would simply result in the rise of another opponent. Backed by a devoted fan group, he linked this cycle to his previous experiences, remembering how rivals like Quinton Rampage Jackson, Rashad Evans, and Lyoto Machida were hyped as his most deadly threats only to be defeated.
Because if I whoop his ass, it's gonna be the next guy. There's gonna be a whole new fan base of somebody who everybody believes in. I've done this my whole adult life. I remember Rampage fans years ago, Rashad fans and Lyoto fans. I literally have replayed this story so many times in my life.
While spectators and combatants become increasingly impatient, Jones argues that his job in the UFC also requires patience. He mentioned that behind-the-scenes happenings influence much of what he can and cannot say or do.
Company guy, you know, and there's a lot of things that's happening behind the scenes where my job is just sit and be still and take the punch.
For the time being, his duty is to wait, absorb criticism, and support the UFC's overall objectives, though he might simply resign or disclose his intentions. He appears satisfied to let time run organically. He reassured that he expects to fight again soon, but there is no set date for his return. He is currently focused on personal affairs, his family, building his dream home, and promoting his brand.
The UFC is to do what's right for the company. I could easily just say, I'm not fighting. My job is to chill. And that's what I'm doing.
I know, you're a smart guy. Do you think after the UFC, let's say you do fight again, would you ever do a fight in like dirty boxing or something?
Yeah, I think I will fight again in the future. I think I will fight again. And where the future of combat sports is going, it's going to be amazing when I pop back up. But right now, I'm just focused on so many other things, like family and like building my house, like building this brand.
Despite mounting pressure from fans and the media, Jones has showed little regard for public standards. Instead, he's been enjoying life in Thailand, even bragging about the success of his class on social media. He claimed that several people from the United Kingdom flew especially to meet him, citing Aspinall's new social media fame. It was a subtle tribute to the Brits' tireless online effort to schedule the fight, but it did little to calm tensions.
Nah, man, John's retired. What are we talking about, guys? John, you guys don't follow John on social media?
I don't follow him on social media. He said that...
No, me too, actually. Me too, but the guy is living his best life. He's had a fantastic career, we all know. We know John's a religious man, so I want to say God bless him moving forward in what he does with his life and his career. And you know, we move on. We move on. I'm the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I'm ready to take on all comers, get this division moving again.
Aspinall, for his part, responded quickly. In a recent conversation with Daniel Cormier and Chael Sonnenford, their show Good Guy, Bad Guy, the Englishman denied Jones' claim that they had previously agreed to the fight. Instead, he portrayed a different picture, one in which Jones was basically retired and transitioning away from the sport.
Us guys have been waiting around too long. You know, the contenders are getting sick of it. Everybody's getting sick of it. Even the fans are getting sick of this stuff. So John's retired and it's time that we move on.
He complimented Jones' tremendous career and even wished him well in whatever happens next, but he made it clear that the division cannot wait any longer. Aspinall declared himself the undisputed heavyweight champion and expressed dissatisfaction with the delays, saying that both fans and boxers are becoming impatient of the hold-up.
Let me tell you why it's never been someone like Aspinall. Because of the way the roles have changed. If this was Jon Jones at 28 years old, no worry for him. And Aspinall would not be the biggest threat to him. The reason Aspinall is the biggest threat to him today is because he's 38 years old. Because he's lived a life of excess, partying, living, doing all those things that back in the day got him into trouble. Sure, we have not seen him doing those things yet. I mean, obviously, he still has a good time. I don't know if it's to the extent that he did before, but Aspinall's the biggest threat today because the roles have reversed. At 28 years old, John would have seen Tom a million times over and fought him already.
His lack of urgency, however, has caused criticism from some in the MMA community. Former to division UFC champion Daniel Cormier, who fell twice to Jones in his career, had a different view. Cormier believes that the present situation stems from fear rather than apathy. He stated that Aspinall provides a unique type of challenge that Jones may no longer be prepared to face, especially at the age of 38.
That's where the difference lies. That's where the difference lies. The difference lies in him knowing that he is a tad bit slower. We can all see it. We all have eyes. He's a tad slower. It happens when you start at 19 and at 21 become the world champion. You've been the world champion for 17 years. Of course, you're going to miss a step. But you know who hasn't? It's Tom. And that's where the dangers lie. That's where the worry comes from. So that's why we're seeing a man say, this guy doesn't really excite me. When in reality, it's exciting.
Cormier emphasized the importance of age and lifestyle, saying that a younger Jones would not have hesitated to fight Aspinall. Jones thinks he has lived a life full of distractions and pleasures that may have caught up with him. That, paired with Aspinall's youthful agility and the growth of the sport, makes this an especially dangerous fight for the current champion.
John at 38 recognizes that this dude's a little better. He's not afraid, like I told you guys a long time ago. He just doesn't want to get knocked out. He doesn't want that. John Jones prefers to let his legacy stay as is, with the caveat that he didn't fight Tom Aspinall and run the risk of fighting Tom Aspinall and getting beat by Tom Aspinall.
Cormier feels Jones is not terrified in the classic sense, but rather aware of the dangers involved in confronting someone like Aspinall. Losing now might ruin his reputation. As a result, Jones may find it easier to go away discreetly, rather than compromise the image he has worked so hard to build over time. Jones' flippant remarks about Aspinall failing to excite him, according to Cormier, could be a smokescreen to conceal real anxiety.
Like, the first thing you start off with, John Jones, I view him as retired. Unless he proves otherwise, he's out of mind. So I'm not even thinking about John. That's what he wants. He wants you guys to ask him, what do you think John's going to do? I don't care.
Frustration is not exclusive to past opponents. Curtis Blades, a heavyweight contender, to voice disappointment with Jones' absence. He attacked the division stagnation, which was caused by the champion's inaction.
Without the movement, where are we going to go? Like, eventually, number 5 is going to move up and get a higher opponent. Number 4, number 3, and so on. If he doesn't fight, like I said a month ago, I would like one to be stripped. Like, we all get it. He's a GOAT. He's great. But if you're not going to be active, what are you doing holding the belt? What are you doing holding up the division? I get what he's doing. He enjoys this. He enjoys his name being talked about. I'm over it already. It's been, I don't even know how long it's been since he beat Stipe, but it's been long enough. I think he should be stripped.
Blades claimed that because Jones has not committed to any fights, other contenders cannot plan their futures.
I think, like I said earlier, him having a belt and him refusing to fight Aspinall, it just halts the division. It makes it impossible for any of us to have any future projections. Like, how can I project when who knows who's got the real belt, who's got the undisputed belt? We need to get to the bottom of that. And like I said, my answer is you strip him. It's not that hard. It's been done a bunch of times before. You strip him, and if that pisses him off, maybe that'll get him to fight. If not, he just retires, which is all right. Also, like I said, he's a GOAT. He doesn't have to fight, but if he wants to hold on to that belt, he needs to fight.
He thinks the UFC should take action and remove Jones' belt if he continues to hold up the division. Blade suggested that doing so would either push Jones to return or drive him into formal retirement. He highlighted that, while Jones has won his spot as the best of all time, the sport must continue to evolve.
Look, it's obviously, I've always been, if you're the champion, defend your belt. It's a responsibility. You can't just, I'm going to sit out. I think you need to be reasonably active. I think you need to fight whoever's there. If you've got an interim champ, it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? So I don't want to throw heaps of shade, but I mean, look, I know he's proved himself. Everyone's like, oh, look what he's done. It's fine. It's like, yeah, no, not really. Don't hold up division just because, I know your resume is incredible. What you've done is incredible. You're considered the greatest of all time. Yeah, we get that. So if you don't want to fight, just retire.
Alexander Volkanovski is among those who have joined the debate. The UFC featherweight champion, known for his blunt remarks, didn't hold back during a recent interview on Mike Perry's Overdog show. While Volkanovski respects Jones' legacy, he thinks that owning a title has obligations that cannot be overlooked. For Volkanovski, being a champion means defending the title, not sitting on the sidelines permanently.
Or if you want big fights, you're going to have to vacate the the title. Like it's again, it's a responsibility. That's how I've always looked at being the champ. It's a responsibility. You know, I would like even a bigger break, or have no pressure of wanting to fight or anything like that. But I mean, it's a responsibility. I want to be active. I want to, make sure, obviously make that money as well. But I mean, at the same time, I want to, sort out the contenders and do your thing. So it's that's just how I look at it. I don't want to throw shade at him. He's done great things, but I don't see how. I don't know if I want to fight him when you're the champ. I don't think you have a choice. When you've got an interim champ just standing there waiting for how long?
He didn't mean to offend Jones openly, but he made his position clear. If you're the winner, you should fight. Volkanovski stressed that defending a title is not discretionary, it is a requirement. He argued that having an interim champion waiting in the wings makes it the more necessary for the undisputed champion to step up by postponing the battle. Against Aspinall, Jones is not simply making a personal choice, he is altering the mood of an entire division.
But they keep asking about Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall, and everybody that has asked the question has prefaced it from a standpoint that Jon Jones is holding this fight up and that he's refusing to fight Tom Aspinall. Now, that may well be the truth. I'm just here to bring to you guys, we don't have that evidence. I mean, we do not have that evidence. Let me tell you what we have evidence of. Jon Jones is the undisputed champion. Let me tell you what we have evidence of. Tom Aspinall is the interim champion. Now, while we fiercely adhere to whatever rules we make up as we go, historically speaking, the interim champion fights the undisputed champion. Like an interim champion does mean one thing historically, which is you're the number one.
Meanwhile, talk of a Jones-Aspinall matchup has grown. The longer the wait, the more supporters think they have been denied about that. Has the potential to reshape the heavyweight division, even in the fight society. Attitudes are becoming more forthright. Many people think that this clash is not only essential, but also unavoidable. Pundits call it a true passing of the torch moment, while others see it as the final test of Jones' reputation.
We're now in a discussion where that isn't true, where an interim championship might actually be defended. And that's the part where I gotta tell you, I don't buy it. There isn't two options for Jon Jones. There is for Tom. In fact, for Tom, there's 3 and 4 and 5 options. Jon Jones will be offered a fight with Tom, or he cannot fight at all. And when you're a prize fighter, electing to not fight does not make you good at negotiating. It makes you unemployed. And Jon Jones has done great, but Jon Jones has not made walkaway money. He just simply isn't at a point in his life or career that he's going to be walking away.
Jon Jones is under fire from fans and athletes alike for continuing to postpone a fight with interim heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall as time passes without an official fight release. Pressure in the MMA community builds. Many think that if Jones has no intention of defending his title against the surging Brit, he should retire or vacate the title immediately. Jon Jones isn't playing around. The warning to Tom Aspinall was cold, planned, and classic. Bones, if you thought this corner was heating up, you haven't seen anything yet. The heavyweight class has just gotten a lot scarier, and we are here for it all. What are your thoughts? Can Aspinall back up his claims, or is he taking on too much? With the best of all time, please share your thoughts in the comments below. We read everybody. If you enjoyed the breakdown, please press the like button. Subscribe to Boxing Corner for the most current fight news, beefs, and breakdowns. Please share this video with your fellow fight fans. Let us keep the fight going. Until next time, keep sharp and nasty. This is the Boxing Area.